Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Ask Dave. A watcher, a viewer asks, have you made a video about your process? What goes into making one of your videos? This is actually a kind of a trick question for me, a difficult question, because the answer is both a lot and nothing. You may recall, some of you who weren't here at the beginning 5 years ago, I can understand that. I got started because my partner said to me, you really ought to do videos because it's like a thing, and you're writing reviews for ClassicsToday.com and for other, outlets as, the opportunity arises. And you've got all this stuff around here, and, you should tell someone about it. And this was during the pandemic, and we were all trapped, and it was horrible. And so I said, okay, and I did it. And I remember the very first one was the Storgard Shostakovich 11th on Chandos. It's a terrible performance. It was very fun. It was very funny because I was looking at the guidelines for how to do videos. YouTube gives you all your guidelines, and the YouTube videos were based on the fact that people have very, very short attention spans. They said your videos should not be longer than like 3 minutes or 2 minutes. So my first videos were really, really short. That didn't last very long. You need to be able to talk more and more freely. And so they began to get longer. When I started doing repertoire videos, they were stretching out to half an hour or longer. So, and I saw other videos on YouTube, and nobody was much paying attention to those guidelines. I don't know where they came from. So the first thing I would say to you, in terms of what is the process? It's to just know what you're going to say and organize your thoughts. Now, there are many ways to organize your thoughts. I don't make notes. I don't. I just don't. I much prefer to be spontaneous. And I have a background, maybe I haven't talked about this much, in public speaking and debate. I was on my high school debate team. I did quite well in regional and national tournaments. I was in the debate team in college. You learn to do extempore speaking, and that's something I've always loved to do. So that's something I feel that I can do pretty well, but not everybody can. And so you have to know yourself. If you need to take notes, if you need to make an outline of what your thoughts are, do it. If you don't, then just get out there and talk and practice it. See what happens. Make a few samples and see how it appears, how it looks. If you're stiff, or if I started out doing these things, I was fairly stiff, I thought. But you loosen up over time and get used to it as you get more comfortable with the medium. It all comes down to experience. It really does. I mean, there was a lot that I wanted to say about classical music, so it was all going to come out one way or another. And the more comfortable you are with your topic, the better will be the flow of your conversation. I mean, I do make notes when we do list things, right? When we did the music I couldn't live without, of course I wrote down everything. I had to write down the list of works. What I was going to say about them, I have no idea until I actually say it. But I do make a list, so I know at least what I'm talking about. So you use as many aids as you need to deliver your presentation in a fluent and hopefully compelling way. But how do I prepare for these things? How far in advance do I think about things? Well, like I said, for these list things, I tend to do them as they come to me and make a bunch at a time. But for regular reviews of CDs and things, let me show you. We'll do a little show and tell. Here is my desk. There's the cat thing, that Finster sits in. Here we have piles and piles and piles. What's that green thing? I don't know what that's candy. Piles of CDs right here, and they are just there waiting. My head out of the way, waiting to be reviewed. I've got some of these are things I've already covered, actually. And if we get up and go this way, we can come around here and do a little walk. See, they're also down that way as well. Lots and lots and lots of CDs. And I have them just waiting to talk about. And as I listen to them, and get myself organized, my thoughts organized, I just pull them out of the pile. And it's fun because for me, I like the spontaneity. I don't like to think too far in advance what I'm going to talk about. I like to sit down, take a breath, see what I have, what's available, and then select, from what I've listened to and what I think would be interesting for all of you. That's just the way I operate. It keeps things fresh for me, and it makes me always look forward to, the day's work, because I'm doing 3 videos a day right now. I don't know how long I'll continue that. I keep saying I'm going to cut back, and I never do. But as we approach 5,000 videos, we should get there, I guess, by around the middle of August. This being, the middle of June or toward the end of June. I may cut it back to 2 videos a day. Who knows? We'll see how it works. In any case, that's my process. And it's a very disorganized process. I can't recommend it to anybody else. I think you have to find your own. And the only way to do that is by trial and error, to see what works for you and what inspires you to your highest flights of eloquence verbally. But that's what it is. And what goes into making the video, what actually goes into it technically, I just sit here at my computer and use my little computer camera and talk. It's very, very simple technically, because I have no patience for anything more complicated than that. You may want to have, a higher end, higher definition camera and better microphones, and you may want to have a whole system just set up for making videos. I have to work with what I have here because it makes things simple, and that for me is the key. From a technical point of view, it has to be as easy as possible. I mean, I can make sound clips. I can edit sound clips into the videos. I can join a couple of videos together. I do have a program that allows me to do that. It's called like Movavi or something like that, which allows me to edit the videos as I need to. But I do, as you know, very, very little editing. I prefer just to let things happen as they happen and live with the consequences, because it makes my life much more easier. Oh God, it makes my life easier and more enjoyable. And I think it makes, it gives the videos a certain raw quality that, adds a degree of authenticity, which I think is important when you're talking about music, because it's also subjective. We know that, right? It's one of those things where you're always talking about people's opinions, and the more you futz with it, the more, I think, this is me, it's my opinion, the more artificial the whole thing looks, the more contrived. And for me anyway, it's important that everything reflect a spontaneous reaction and response to the amazing experience of listening to music, listening to these performances. And the reaction has to have a certain visceral quality. Oh, look, there's Mildred. There goes Mildred. Say, there she is. Mildred, hello. Hi. How you doing, honey? Yes. Okay. Anyway, we have to give them some screen time as well. But that's really what I want. I want it to be spontaneous. And that may be a quality that individual video makers don't want or aren't comfortable with. I can't really be much more specific than that. But I hope just talking about this a little bit helps give you a sense of what I do, and in order to sort of triangulate where you are based on that, what you might want to do. I mean, I'm all for professionalism. I mean, if you want to have better sound quality and better picture, go for it. I mean, if you have the patience to deal with that stuff. I found that after I hit my 60s, my patience for, technological things became much, much less. I'm not quite sure why that happened. I used to be a huge techie. I mean, I was an audiophile. I love putting things together and electronics, and I was Mr. Fix-It in my family. I still am, actually, here. I like puttering around, but now for this, I'm just much more goal-directed. I just want to get the video out there so that we can talk about music. That's my great love. And so I hope this helps. I hope this helps all of you who might want to be considering making videos of your own. And if I can help you in some way, for sure, please ask me. I mean, I just, the more people who talk about music and who have interest in music and who share their love of music, the healthier our lives will be. I really believe that. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.